Hey everybody, it's Tammy. So I was at a friend of mine's the other day who I hadn't seen for about a year because of reasons, and a conversation went something like this.
Hey, what are you doing in that room?
Oh, that's my 3D printing room.
You have a 3D printer?
Yeah.
For how long?
A year.
I then proceeded to talk his ear off for about an hour and a half about printing stuff, and a few days later, this arrived. Thank you to my friend. He has very kindly printed off some masks for me, including a bunch of ones that weren't quite up to snuff. So we'll see what they look like when they go bad. I'm quite excited about this. This is going to be basically the first 3D printed barnacle pieces I've ever owned. So it's going to be cool. Alright, here we go. So they're all printed in black, these. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got, okay, so this looks like a failure. Can you, hang on, let's get a lighting on that. Can you tell what that's supposed to be? That's a failed mask of creation. Still interesting to have though. This is a messed up Helrix mask. It doesn't actually look that bad. Oh, it looks a bit bad. Got a slightly messed up Faxon. This is the one that's currently the winning Bamonga design. It might get changed back to a standard Faxon in the final one. What else have we got? Okay, so this is a sensory aptitude mask for Coolus. I'm not sure if this is like the intended final version. Oh yeah, here's a slightly messed up version. Yeah, this is way cleaner and the lines are a lot finer. So for those of you who are interested in 3D printing, these were printed on a FDM, is it FDM or FMD? Printer, basically the one that has the nozzle that goes makes layers, as opposed to a resin printer, which I am hoping to get very soon. It'll be interesting to compare them. And what else have we got? Got yet another couple of Helrix masks. These are really good, mate. I don't know. I suppose this one's possibly, yeah, okay. Oh, a little bit messed up on the underside. See. I think this is supposed to be the final one. Put that there. Oh, another rough Faxon. Mate, you must have printed these out like 3 times each. That's amazing, thank you. I think this is the final one. I'll go back and check in a second. The final kind of version of that Faxon variant. And then, let me save this one for last. The legendary mask of creation, and that is, let's get a better light on that. That is something. Look at that detail. Look at that. Heck of a thing. It's I've really warmed to this mask design, even though I preferred the King K's original from the winning mock. Like, I really have warmed to this design over time, and this is definitely doing me justice. Alright, let's get a look at these all out together. Okay, so I've moved to the conservatory where we've got a lot more natural light, which makes it a bit easier to see these because they are so dark. So yeah, you can tell this one's really kind of messed up a bit on the inside. And then this one, I actually was struggling for a while to tell which one was supposed to be the final one, but I think this one is supposed to be the final one because it has much finer, much shorter layer lines. But then it is a bit more messed up in the middle. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe my friend's just given me these to see which one I prefer. All of these I will give a bit of a clean up with a toothbrush, I think. Then we've got the sensory aptitude mask. This one, you know, it's not that bad. I think once you get all of these bits of filament off that have come loose, that's fine. And this one just looks pretty good. Ooh, that axle looks interesting. Faxon again. I think this is supposed to be the final one. It looks like it possibly went. My mate tried to go a bit finer with the lines on this one, and it didn't quite work out. That axle looks like it might be a challenge. And finally, the Mask of Creation, and this one That's the sort of thing that goes up on your wall, isn't it? Like, I hunted this Artaka for 12 days, and I now hang his head on my wall. That's quite an impressive mask, isn't it, really? Let's get the focus on there. There we go. Hope the light's bringing the detail up. Alright, so I'm gonna I'm gonna give these a bit of a scrub to clean them up, and then I am going to give these a bit of a spray paint. Oh, and the sun's just come out. Okay, so I've cleaned these up as best I can. I've still got a couple of drops of water on them. I still wasn't sure which of the Helrix masks was intended to be the final version. I think they've both got the pros and cons. So I'm going to probably go for this one for now. It is slightly finer in detail. Oh, that's coming out really good. But I realised one thing I've got to do first is to make sure that all of these actually fit on a barnacle head. Otherwise they're not a lot of use for me, are they? And luckily I have this little doohickey that I made for when I needed to take a picture of Nadiki's mask for the barnacle breakdown. So I'm going to take this mask off. Ooh, that's very tight. That's not quite going in, which is not too much of a worry. If it's slightly too big, you can file it down, whereas if it's too small, then you're a bit stuck. I also don't want to force too much, because I don't want to... Ah, there we go. No, with a bit of power. Here we go. Alright, that's good. That's one down. Oh dear. Oh dear. Come on. Might need to see about sanding down that axle. Be right back. Okay, so that is not coming out at the moment, and part of the problem is that there's not a lot for me to grip onto, and I can't really pull from here because I might snap this axle. And stupidly, I should have gone for the Meta head because I also can't really get an implement in to push this out. But that's fine for the time being. I will just cover the head up with masking tape when I paint it. So I'll put that aside. Next, I'm going to test these out with an axle, with this lift arm. Okay, maybe I just got unlucky with the coolest mask. Alright, I'm going to risk putting these on Metru heads as well. Okay. So, we'll try this again, I suppose. Yep, that works fine, and it's coming off fine, good. That's going on. I'm amazed how big and thick this mask is, actually. That's going on fine. That looks nice. That's coming off good. This is going on a bit. Oh, does this mask not work, or is it just is it a bit too... Maybe this one came out printed wrong, I don't know. But yeah, it's a little bit squashed there. Alright, we'll leave that one for the time being. In that case, we'll definitely go for this one, which it's still a bit of a tight fit. That seems to work. Alright, cool. Well, I'm going to go give these a bit of a initial paint, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so here we are post-painting, or at least as much as I'm going to do quickly today. This one I'm going to show off first, the coolest mask. I think that looks pretty nice. So I've gone for this kind of pale blue, which I also used for my Muktoran video, just because it's a colour I don't get to use very often, and it'll help with the slightly blue-silver look. I can see I missed a bit of the... Oh, shit! See, I missed a bit there. I think with these lighter colours, it's definitely showing up some of the looser filament, and possibly is not doing these designs the justice they deserve. That's that one. Then we've got the Helrix mask. Well, I've possibly missed a little bit there, but that, you know, that looks alright. The blue is probably not going to match up with matte blue exactly, but that's fine. This Faxon looks really good. It definitely looks better on camera at least, and that looks rather fine, quite frankly. And then we've got the Mask of Creation, which is that really, video because that is something special. And even with the slight kind of loose bits of filament, like look at all those details, the runes and stuff. Like that's some work there. And that really comes up well in the gold. So I'm now going to start putting these onto the characters they were made for. So first up we've got Helryx, Toa Helryx. She is practically unchanged from my mod video that I did, my very first video on the channel in fact. I haven't even gotten the parts to get that second leg bent. But let's pop this off. Oh, yeah, I'm using the Metru head, get over it. Yep, on it goes, on it goes, on it goes. Hey. Wow. Oh, I'm just going to nick this one from the side, that's fine. So it's one thing to get the mask to look right, but it's another thing to actually get it manufactured or produced to a point where it actually connects with other Lego parts. There we go. Alright, I'm happy with that for the time being. That's Helryx, eh? Oh, that's cool. That is cool. It's cool, it's cool, it's cool. Alright, let's move on to something a bit bigger. So this is my Artaka I've had built for a while. Well, it's not fully built, there's still a few pieces missing, but it's good enough for our purposes. And this is just an Evoki that I've been using for as a stand-in. I'm going to pop this off. This mask has the advantage of not having to blend with any other gold parts on the model. Just going to line it up, pop it on. Yes. Oh yeah. Yes, people. Oh, that is nice. That is nice. See if I can get a bit of a zoom in on that. Zoom. Yeah. That is neat. Neat. Alrighty. Okay. Let's roll on to the Toa Haga. Alright, and welcome back to the Haga turntable. If you wonder why I didn't get the mask printed that won in the winning mock, that's because, well, I kind of hope that mask gets changed. Even if it's one of the other masks from that pack, like I think the Cow could look particularly good. And also just because it's not confirmed yet that will be the final mask, and I didn't want to make my friend print out masks unnecessarily. Speaking of which, I suppose it is technically possible that this will get overruled in the contest, but since I know that at least one or two of the entries have decided to make it into this version, but we'll start off with the Faxon variant anyway. So here's Bomonga. I'm going to pop this off, and never remember to take these axle parts off, do I? And I'm just going to slide this on. There we go. And not as a mask, it looks very nice. I don't know. I'm not too hot on that one, honestly. And that's no slight on the design. I think it's just a bit narrow for Bomonga. Plus, I will admit I have a bit of a bias against introducing unnecessary redesigns of masks. And then last up we have Coolus, and I still haven't gotten the scarf properly for this piece, so I'm just going to pop this off. And because I have completely ballsed up the connection, I'm going to have to give him a complete headectomy. Oh dear, oh dear. And now try and pop this on. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, the blue's fairly off, but at this point silver was going to be inaccurate anyway, so I think that's fine for now. So that's cool. And I think initially I thought this mask looked a little bit goofy, but it's really grown on me. And let's see if I can get this amazing bit of tapestry over the top of it. Probably not. I think it looks good. Honestly, I like it. I'll have to find a paint for this metal blue, but I think we're all going to have to. So yeah, there we go. Hang on, I'm just going to bring in Helrix and Artak if I can get them in shot. So these are my first adventures with dealing with 3D masks. I think that some of the jank on these can be attributed to just poor post-processing on my part. So I'm completely to blame. That said, I am looking forward to getting a resin printer so I don't have to worry about filament issues going forward. But yes, big shout out to my friend. Thank you for producing these for me. Like, I wish I'd known a year ago because these would have been so handy. But I'm very excited to finally have these custom masks in my collection. This is awesome, lovely. I hope that was interesting for you, those of you who are looking to get into 3D printing or just maybe even buying these masks off Shapeways or something. Although I would say that the price of printing yourself it's coming down all the time. So I would seriously look into it. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon in another video. Bye!